Hey guys, how are you guys doing today? So today I'm going to be debating or talking about Instagram and DoorDash for 2020. I do both, and I just want to show you guys or let you guys decide. I'm gonna give you guys my opinion, and I'm going to also let you decide for yourself which one is better to do in 2020. So first off, I've been doing DoorDash for 4 months since I got my car in September up until now, which is January 2020. So from September 2019 to January 2020, I've been doing DoorDash. And then I've been doing Instacart for about 3 months. So after I had did DoorDash, and I really liked it, and then I've seen advertisements for I actually seen videos for Instacart. I just decided to give it a shot and see how I would like it. So yeah, I've been doing it ever since. So the next thing I want to talk about which one pays the best. So in my opinion, Instacart pays the best. You could get, I haven't seen anything lower than $7. $7 is the lowest, and then for DoorDash, the lowest I've seen is $3. And this could be any mileage for both of the apps. So the $7, it could be 0.5 miles up until probably 4 miles for Instacart, if it's a $7 order or batch. And then for DoorDash, the order can, for the $3, it could be up to 5 miles. This year, or for the past 2 months, DoorDash has really declined. Like, it's kind of becoming trashy during the daytime. Like, the pay is outrageous. Like, it's so low, so I don't really do it as much as I used to. And when I do it, I mainly just do it at nighttime, because a lot of the times the base pay is just really low, and then they want you to go a higher mileage than the pay rate or the same mileage. So you might be lucky to get a $3 order for 3 miles or 0.5 miles. But I try to aim for $5 or higher and try not to do too many miles. So yeah, I believe that Instacart has better pay than DoorDash. It just depends on how much you do. With Instacart, you can't do like 20 deliveries per day unless you just leave super early in the morning up until the ending time. But even then, it's still limited, and I'm going to get into that in a minute. So a good thing I want to point out about DoorDash is that it's all day long. So you could do it from the morning and get breakfast orders, and you could do it up until not midnight, up until past 2 a.m. So probably up until 4 a.m. 3 or 4 a.m. I haven't done it later than that. The latest I've ever done it was 2:30, and I could have stayed out later, but I was tired, so I went home. And they were getting so many orders. So that's a tip. If you're doing DoorDash, or if you're considering doing that DoorDash, I would advise you to do it at night. Like, the best hours to do it in my area is, and I live in New Jersey, is from 11 p.m. up until like the earlier hours or the later hours, like 2 a.m. 3 a.m. because so many people, like, they just want food during that time. Like, they just want to have a late night snack, or they have late night cravings and they want some food, and they don't feel like going out the house. So it's really good to do it during that time. And a lot of times during those hours, there's peak pay, and peak pay is when you get a bonus amount. So you could have $1 extra per delivery, or $2 extra per delivery, or $3 extra per delivery. When I first started doing DoorDash, they had more bonuses and more incentives. They don't really do that anymore. But I do still prefer to do it at night. Okay, back on Instacart. The thing about Instacart that I'm not too fond about is that they don't tell you the total mileage in the app, and I didn't know this at first. So I was accepting so many orders. If it said like 2 miles, I was thinking that and I'm a new driver as well, so I didn't know that much about mileage. I'm just giving you an example, 2 miles for example, and then I would think that that was from where I am to the supermarket, or where I am to the supermarket to to the customer's house, but it's not. It's basically from the supermarket to the customer's house. So before you accept a batch, you want to do your research and see how far the supermarket or store, because you can get a store too, you could get CVS or another store like that, and see how far it is for your house. Now I've been doing Instacart for a while, so I'm kind of used to the different stores that pops up on my feed for the batches available, so I know like how far each one is from my house. But sometimes I might be already out and about and I just want to look and see what batches are available, or I could have done a batch that is close to my house and I completed the delivery, and then I want to see what new batches available. But if I don't know how far it is, then it might be a bad idea. So it might say $12 for 3 miles, but then the supermarket is like in a total different town than you're at. It's actually 9 miles or even 10 miles away from your current location, and that'll be you losing money. I recommend that you don't do anything that's the total like $13 for 13 miles. I don't recommend that you do something like that or anything higher than that, because you'll be losing out. So 1, try to find something that's low mileage. 2, try to find something that's close to you. The bigger batches typically are the best paying, so if you have like a few items, you could be in and out, so that's good. But then if you get a bigger batch that has quite a bit of items or like healthier items, then you'll get paid more. At Instacart, it only shows the miles from the store to the customer. One good thing about DoorDash is that it does show you the total mileage. So basically, if you get a DoorDash alert for a DoorDash delivery, the mileage that it says today is true to heart. So if it says that it's 2.2 miles, then that is from where you are to the restaurant to the customer. And another thing I want to talk about both of the apps, Instacart and DoorDash, is that you have the option to schedule time. So you can schedule your hours. So you can schedule your hours a few days ahead of time. You can even schedule your hours the same day if it's available. I have done this a couple of times, and I actually did this when I first started each of the apps or the services through the company, but I prefer not to do that, because if you don't have, say you're doing Instacart and you schedule yourself for West Orange area, for example, because I'm from New Jersey, then you'll only get delivery alerts from that area. So it might not even be busy during that time, busy in West Orange during that time, and it might be busy in Newark, and you're missing out because you decided to schedule yourself for that. And then if you decide for Instacart, if you decide to end that because you're not getting no deliveries, you will most likely get a reliability incident, and a reliability incident is not really good. It's basically saying that you're unreliable. So now I don't schedule times at all. I'll just wait, go on the app when I'm available, when I want to get some batches or deliveries, and then accept it. And the same thing goes for DoorDash. Only thing is you won't get in trouble. You'll just have to exit out. And the only other bad thing about if you don't schedule is that you don't get the deliveries first. Whoever schedules themselves for that day, for that time, and for that area, they'll be the first ones to receive it, I believe. So that's one thing to think about. But for me, I recommend to just go up there and see what's available for both apps. And for DoorDash, when it's red, that means that it's busy, and that you could click on Dash Now and get dashes. Or if you're doing Instacart, you can just go up there and see if there's any batches available. I prefer that method. It's all preference, but I think that's just a better option. One bad thing about DoorDash that I don't like is that customers typically don't tip, and it's gotten worse over the past 3 months. When I first started, some customers would tip, and it depends on the area that you're at too. Like, you might go to a nicer neighborhood You could travel to nicer neighborhoods or like more urban areas. It depends. You might only do all nice areas, but where I live, I'm like in the city, so like I'm like in the middle, so I could go to area that I'm in, or then I could go to an area that's not that good. I'm always careful though. Or I could go to like an area that's really nice. The nicer neighborhoods, they normally tip you. Sometimes even they don't tip you on DoorDash. It's a shame. And definitely like in the okay to bad areas, they don't barely tip you at all. Sometimes you have a nice person and they'll give you a cash tip, and I like when they do that. But tipping has really gone down a lot on DoorDash. So on the other hand, for Instacart, you'll more than likely always get tips. So whenever I get an Instacart batch and I click on it before I decide to swipe if I like the batch, and it's okay with me, like as far as the miles, the store, and the amount of items, if I'm okay with that, then I can see how much the base pay is plus the tip. So at first you don't see that, you just see the total amount that you'll be paid. But then once you click on it, you are able to see the base pay plus the tip, and more than likely 90% of the time I always get a tip, and this is beforehand. The only bad thing is that after you complete a delivery, the customer has about up to 3 days to alternate or to adjust the tip. So they can give you more, or they could give you less, or they could just take off the tip if they want. Also with Instacart, you have to learn to read fast and to move fast with the app, because people, they're on it as well as other people in your area that wants to get batches. They want to make money, so you have to be quick. If you really like a batch, the pay sounds good, the mileage, and you're not too far from the store, then don't hesitate. Click on it, like slide and accept it. So one good thing about Instacart is that the pay is still pretty consistent. I have met some people that just came up to me randomly at the supermarket asking me if I'm doing Instacart, and they said that the pay has gotten lower. And I also seen an article about it, but since I started from 3 months ago to now, the pay is still the same. I haven't seen it go drastically down. It's still pretty good to me, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't have any complaints with the pay. But if you're like an OG, you started like a year or more ago, then you might have noticed a difference. But from when I started to now, it's still really good. So one thing about both of the apps is that when you're looking for your customer's house or whatever, like you already picked up the food, whether it's groceries or from the restaurant, and you're trying to deliver it to a person's house, and you're not familiar with the area, or you're not familiar, you just can't find the person's house, you never heard of this apartment or whatever. Like sometimes certain places aren't on Google, like it's not fully registered on GPS like Google Maps or Apple Maps. So just keep in mind, if you're considering doing either one of these or both, that sometimes you will have trouble trying to find the customer's house. It could get really tough trying to find the customer's house, and if you're just having that trouble, like it's not working with your GPS, and sometimes your GPS could just lead you astray. It's so annoying. Just reach out to the customer, try to call them, and try to let them know what's going on, that you can't find their house, and yeah, you should be able to resolve it like that. Okay, one thing about Instacart that some people might not like is that it can take up to 2 hours. So I haven't had a batch that took more than 2 hours. So that's about and I'm talking about from the store to the customer's house. So it might take an hour. It could take up to an hour to an hour and a half for me if it's a big batch in the supermarket, and then it might take like 10 to 15 minutes if the customer is not too close to the supermarket to deliver. So it could be up to 2 hours for the whole Instacart delivery. So if that's taking too much of your time for one thing, then you might not want to do Instacart. But if the pay is good, then it's definitely worth it. Only accept big orders if the pay is really good. But just know that Instacart is more lengthy and DoorDash is a little bit faster, because with DoorDash, you don't have to wait for a long time unless it's just really busy at the restaurant. The busiest restaurant I have seen so far for DoorDash is Wendy's. Whenever I have to do a Wendy's delivery, especially at night, the line is super long, and I go through the drive-thru when I do Wendy's deliveries. So sometimes it could take about 10-15 minutes in the line, but besides that, it's typically really fast. You just go through the drive-thru, order the food for them, and then deliver it. Or you'll just go, for the most deliveries, you'll just go inside the store, and majority of the time when you go in the store, the food is already done and you just pick it up, get back in your car, and drive to the customer's house. So DoorDash is a bit easier than Instacart, because Instacart you have to find all these items, and it's not just finding the items, you have to scan every item, every single item. Well, unless you have multiples of the one item, then you don't have to scan every item, but every different type of item you have to scan it for Instacart. So just be aware of that. Another thing I want to point out about Instacart is for you guys to be prepared to do produce, and produce is basically vegetables, fresh vegetables and fresh fruit. So when you first go into the supermarket, most of the time when you first go into the supermarket, the produce is the first thing that you'll see. So you'll see like the leafy greens on the side with like the cool air blowing and the water, whatever. Then you'll see like oranges and apples. Then on another side you'll see like potatoes and onions. You'll get a lot of that. A lot of people that do that use Instacart, they love produce. Like they want to get healthier items. Some people, they just get regular things, but I see that a lot of people, at least in my area, they get, especially the better orders, they get produce. So be prepared to get produce, recognize the produce. You'll even get some items, and even especially produce that you never heard of, and I've seen some weird ones that I never ever heard of, and I'm familiar with different produce, but they had some weird stuff up there as well. And you'll have to use scales to weigh the produce, so just be prepared for that. If you want to do Instacart, you will have to do produce at least here and there. Every order may not have produce, and it's easy to do produce at Aldi's because for the most part they have things already packaged, and all you have to do is, and everything for the produce is Aldi brand. For the most part, it's like 1 or 2 items that's not Aldi brand. All you have to do is scan it for the most part, or even just click that you found it and it'll go away. Aldi, and what's another one that's easy? It's another supermarket that's really easy to do produce too, but if you do like ShopRite, it's a little more tedious and it can be hard to find certain items. I love that DoorDash is available all day. You could go check and see if anything is available early in the morning for people that want to get their breakfast sent to them at work, or just want breakfast, or just want something early in the morning. And you could do it up until super late at night when people have their late night cravings. So you can start early in the morning and then go about your day afterwards, or you could start at night if you want, up until really late, or you could do it from early in the morning to super late at night. So you have that option. It's no cutoff time for you. You could do it all day if you want. And Instacart, you could start whenever you want, but I never seen anything after 9 p.m. I don't know if they have a shut off time, but you know, certain supermarkets, they close early or like at a certain time, and I haven't seen any batches available after 9 p.m. for Instacart. Okay, let's talk about mileage again. So with Instacart, to me, you won't be doing as many miles because you'll be spending majority of your time in the supermarket. So that's the good thing. Even though it could take up into 2 hours to do an Instacart batch, you'll be spending majority of that time in the supermarket. And with DoorDash, you'll be spending most of your time in the car. So if you're like going through the drive-thru and the drive-thru is long, that's burning up some of your gas. If you just constantly keep on doing so many deliveries back and back, that's taking up some of your gas too. So for me, in my experience, I use less of my gas with Instacart and more of my gas with DoorDash, because I'm going in and out of the car with Instacart, and with DoorDash, I'm merely staying in the car. So guys, I thank you guys for tuning in. I'm just going to let you guys know my personal favorite. My favorite is Instacart, if I haven't mentioned that yet. My favorite is Instacart. I love it. I love that I get tips. I could deliver it to nicer areas. And I get to move around a bit. I just like that it pays more and I don't have to do too many miles. I still like DoorDash, but it did change a bit, so I don't like that. And I really like doing DoorDash late at night. I thank you guys so much for tuning in. If this video was helpful to you, make sure to give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to the channel for more. I do other content as well. I do lots of lifestyle. Also, you guys, don't forget to check out the description box, because I'll leave some additional info in there for you guys. I'll leave some links for DoorDash and Instacart, so make sure that you check out the description box. Okay, I'll talk to you guys in my next video. Bye bye.